Hello, hello, hello.
Hi guys, my name is Mary.
And I'm James.
And you're listening to another episode of the Watch That John podcast.
Yeah.
So if it sounds like James' voice is overtaking mine, it's because we are actually in the same studio and I forgot to bring my mic. Studio. We're in a dining room, but we only have one mic. So yeah, bear with us and we apologize. James reminded me, but he's useless.
Mary has come to visit for the past week or so to help me basically around the house while I have the baby or while I'm on paternity leave. So her, my grandmother, my mother was also up here. And once again, surrounded by women the whole time. So
you said it like it's a bad thing.
I cannot wait until
to get around some penises.
Everyone gets out my house. All right, so we're continuing our series of the House of the Dragon. Now we're on episode 5, Unbent and Unbowed.
Unbowed and Unbent.
Yeah, Unbowed and Unbent. Yeah. And I think the title summarizes the show pretty nicely. Like, there's a few characters as we go along our notes of the episode that just refuse to give up, even though they should give up probably. And
I think at this point, Rhaenyra's the one that should give up. Aemond's getting stronger by the second. Aegon gained his confidence back in this episode. Ormond literally is letting people know that Daemon's going to be king. I think Rhaenyra should be giving up. You know,
she should be the one.
And plus, she's in the throes of grief.
Yeah.
So, I think she should bow and bend, to be honest. Like, even though I love Rhaenyra, I do want Rhaenyra to come out on top. It doesn't seem very likely in this episode. And this episode starts off with Ser Tully and the other Rivermen. They are trying to reach Tumbleton, but Cole, Tylan, and their men keep... they're trying to reach Tumbleton, but Cole and Tylan keep like burning bridges. Like we discussed last episode, Cole was like, no, we're not going to go to Tumbleton to meet up with Ormond. We're going to try to still fight the Rivermen using this sort of guerrilla warfare. So they're burning bridges. And then before they know it, their own camp gets attacked. Cole and Tully and his men are like burning down
the Riverlands camp
with torches and and they know that Cole and Tylan find out that the Rivermen are headed for the Stony Steps. They're like, all right, guys, we're going to keep doing what we're doing. Before they even have a chance to get to the Stony Step, we're just going to make it very difficult for them, and that's their plan.
Yeah, they have a really like gritty sort of army that has been decimated. They're traveling about their size is about like a fifth of the size of the men they're fighting, or at one point they said like 100 to 1. So they're very
I heard for every never mind. I heard for every 10 there's like for every 10 of Cole's men. No, for every 10 of the Riverlanders is one of Cole and Tylan's men.
Yeah.
I think. I could
they're significantly outnumbered. So basically, Cole is just doing everything he can to slow them down, and we learn what his true motivations are later on in the episode.
Where is the Stony Step? The Stony Steps, like is that? Just like maybe like a what's it called? Like a benchmark point before you get to Tumbleton?
The Stony Steps.
No, Ser Tully. What am I talking about? Ser Tully and the Rivermen. Are they going to Tumbleton? I forget where they're going.
So, Ser Tully and the Rivermen...
They're going to meet Rhaenyra and King's Landing.
Yeah, they're going to King's Landing.
Okay.
They're going to King's Landing.
No one's going to Tumbleton. And that's why Ormond's pissed. Yeah, I was mistaken.
Ormond was originally expecting Cole to meet his men in Tumbleton.
Yeah, and they said, screw that, we're not doing that. Okay, yeah. So the Rivermen, they're trying to meet Rhaenyra at King's Landing.
Yep.
Did you see what the Stony Steps... Not the Stony Steps, the Stony Steps, like September. Stony Steps, September, yeah. T. The Stony Steps.
Walled town.
So they said it's a walled town, but where is it? Famous?
Is situated in the southern Riverlands near The headwaters of the Blackwater Rush. I don't know what this means.
So it's a large namesake. Hold on. A large namesake stone step sits on a rocky hill in the center of town. I don't know. Maybe just like it's a landmark.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a landmark somewhere between the Riverlands and King's Landing. So that's where they're headed. And Cole and Tylan know that. I'm like, all right, let's just keep doing what we're doing. So in the next scene, we get to Harrenhal. And for the first time since episode 2, we see that Aemond is alive.
Yeah, after he got stabbed in the back by one of the sons of, what was his name? Ser Simon. So Simon Strong. We thought that he was dead, but we knew that Alice, the witch of Harrenhal, is upset that Daemon did not give her the castle to Harrenhal as like a reward for her helping him get all the rivermen to basically join their cause.
40,000 rivermen.
Yeah.
So she rallied in the name of Rhaenyra, and she can't get Harrenhal, and she's like, I know Harrenhal the best. I know its history, and that's one thing I wanted to do. I wanted to figure out what's going on. What's the history of Harrenhal? Because when the scene starts off, of course, Rhaenyra was like, she put a bounty out on Aemond. Whoever can get Aemond gets Harrenhal. Whoever brings her Aemond's head gets Harrenhal. So, of course, all these men are coming to Harrenhal trying to find Aemond. They come and Alice spooks them all off like a swarm of bats come and the bats attack the bounty hunters and they're freaked out. It's very Scooby-Doo-like. So I'm wondering, and Alice, she said, you don't know the history here. It's really spooky. Do you feel like Googling that, John, to see what's the...
We looked it up. Harrenhal was destroyed by Aegon the Conqueror. Right? Aegon the Conqueror.
I don't remember looking that up.
Vhagar destroyed Harrenhal when he took over the castle. So the castle's been destroyed for a long time, and there's ghosts there. It's haunted.
The ghost of the dead destroyed by Aegon.
It's falling apart. Yeah, and Alice, obviously being a witch, she's comfortable in that situation, and she probably can at least make it. She has made it a home her entire life, so that's why it's so important to her.
That's a spooky broad.
Yeah, she's pretty Scooby-Doo spooky.
And I don't know why people keep messing with her. Like, if there's someone who does things that I do not understand, I am not going to make an enemy of you.
Yeah.
I'm going to make an ally of you. And she's incredibly wise to make an ally of Aemond. And like we said before, Aemond he's very vulnerable now that Vhagar's gone. We know that he always wanted some affection from his mother that he felt like he never got. And Alice knows that. So she saw a great opportunity to tell Rhaenyra to shove it by nursing her number one op back to health in a very motherly way. So she's really smart.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you feel as though Alice's allegiance, right, with Aegon is going to be repaid, unlike Aemond. So you think Aemond is going to repay Alice, unlike Daemon did? You think she's going to repay?
I don't think Aemond's going to repay Alice at all. I think she's doing it just to spite Rhaenyra. I don't think Aemond's going to repay her at all. The Targaryens don't seem to be one to really pay their debts. They're not the Lannisters. Think about it. Everybody in this show,
Actually, to that point, Jace, in the next scene, he promised Harrenhal to the phrase, because
for allowing them to cross the twins.
Yep, the twin crossings. So they're basically,
and we just explained the importance of the twins in last season. And when Jace and the other Northerners wanted to cross, because pretty much it allowed them to get the drop on, what was it, the Lannisters.
Yeah.
It's just a quicker way. Like, if you don't cross the twins, you have to go, like, I think a whole roundabout way to get somewhere. So the twins is like a toll, you know, and the phrase, they own the twins, and they were supposed to get Harrenhal, but instead Rhaenyra offers the lady of House Frey, I guess, a seat on the council, and she just takes it.
Yeah.
And
instead of the Castle Harrenhal. So to your point, the Targaryens, they do not do a good job of fulfilling their promises.
Yeah, and Rhaenyra's just kind of like, well, I didn't make that promise. Jace did, and Jace is dead.
Yeah.
But it's still like, it's not looked upon.
He was the heir to the throne.
Yeah, and even later on, you know, the city watchmen are getting paid. Yep. And later on, Daemon makes promises like, yo, when we pretty much nip all this controversy in the bud, you guys are the first ones to receive.
Yeah, when I eat, you all eat.
And it's like, I don't want an IOU. Yeah. An IOU don't pay the bills.
It don't. Especially the Targaryens, I feel like they're just power hungry, and they just do anything to get power and make these promises, but they can't fulfill them, or they won't.
Well, I think, you know, they're so focused on securing Rhaenyra's legitimacy, and in their minds, that means finding out what happened to Aegon, finding out what happened to Aemond, but they're forgetting everything else in the meantime. And it's like, people don't care about that. They're hungry now. They need money now. You made promises to them. They did all this. Like even with Corlys, you know what I mean? Corlys is like, screw you. You know, I did all this and you're not giving me, even though I think he's wrong because Rhaenyra never promised that. It's kind of like, we don't have time to wait, you know?
Yeah. Meanwhile, Alicent is taking Plan B. she got the what is it? Some type of concoction to terminate the pregnancy of Helaena. Called yeah. So Master Orwell plans to bring that concoction to Helaena, and
yeah. So
she refuses to drink it.
Yeah, Helaena does refuse to drink it. And Alicent makes a good point. You know, Helena's like, no, you know, this is my baby nephew, because, you know, that's her brother's kid since she slept with Aegon. I'm hoping she had a little rendezvous, a little dalliance with someone else. Uncle Daddy Grandpa. That's what my friend Danielle used to call herself. She was very scary. So yeah, Helena's like, I'm not taking this. This is my baby. And Alicent make a good point. She said, hey girl, I took it. Rhaenyra took it plenty of times in her younger years. Contraception means freedom.
Yeah.
Giving the woman the right to choose.
Well, Helaena did choose. She chose.
Helaena did choose, but Alicent's, made a good point saying, like, pretty much you're expected to have babies back then. Women are expected to just bear people's children, and that's what keeps you bound. Here, I offer you freedom. She made a good point. You give birth to this baby. What kind of life is this baby going to live? As a prisoner? Here is freedom. And I'm like, girl, I get it. That's your baby. You can have another baby. You're still young.
Yeah.
You're fertile. You can have another baby. Maybe one that isn't your brother's. But I did like that. She was like, hey, girl, I don't think I'm so uppity. I took this because I was screwing around with my Kingsguard.
Yeah, so. But Helaena still proves that she's still a seer, right? She says that.
So what? A seer, yeah.
Yeah, like she just knows things. She's like, Aemond.
But people don't listen to her.
Aegon is still alive.
She did say.
But without fire. So she has like a sixth sense almost. And she knows that her brother is still alive. Which I don't know if that is
Aemond is no, she said Aemond is still alive. Yeah, he burns without fire. And Aemond's at Harrenhal having dreams that Aegon's pretty much coming to take his revenge. And I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
He's coming for you. He's coming for your head top.
Yeah. So because of all that, Helena's like, the other threats to the throne are still alive.
So why I gotta get my baby up?
Why I get my baby up?
I mean,
my baby's fourth in line right now.
I think Rhaenyra doesn't want the high towers in that area to have any more children.
No. I understand from Rhaenyra's standpoint, but from Helena's standpoint, she's like, yo, man, both my brothers still alive. And
she sees her baby as not an immediate threat.
And then Darren is still alive too.
Yeah, but it's like,
so now my baby is fourth in line. That's not even it could not even be a boy. So what's the point?
Hey, but he can still rise up when he's old enough and say Rhaenyra was never legitimate.
Yeah.
So I get how Rhaenyra sees it. We'll see that as a threat still. So meanwhile, Baela and Adam, they tell Rhaenyra at a council meeting that they've heard of sightings of Aegar outside of Wendish Town. And we also know that in Flea Bottom, 2 city watchmen were savagely killed. I think their throats cut and they were disemboweled.
Yeah, their guts were ripped out. It's pretty gruesome.
Yeah, it's really nasty. And Rhaenyra's like, go look for Vhagar, see what's going on in Wendish Town, and he's like, no, I am a city watchman.
Daemon refuses.
He wants to see what's going on with the Gold Cloaks.
Yeah, he refuses. He says he's essentially like, before we should try to squash what's outside the house, we need to control the house first. And he openly defines her. And she storms off and says, hey, are we still back in Dragonstone?
Yeah.
I need to compete against your voice.
Mm-hmm.
And he's essentially like, hey, I'm doing what you want me to do. Just like later.
And she's like, stop playing with me. I am in no mood to jest. But I love how Daemon is just the comic relief. Yeah. I love how he can juxtapose being brutally cruel and savage, but also kind of funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
Funny and petty. And like, just, yeah. He's...
I do think he's right, though, because, his...
Of course you do.
The queens, like the Gold Cloaks...
And she admits that he's right, but you don't say that in front of everybody.
No, you don't. The Gold Cloaks, they are the first ones... Were the first ones to defend Rhaenyra when she's had the throne.
Yeah, who set that up?
Right.
Alicent's.
Yes, but they were the first ones that come to her aid. So, and
they're down with Daemon.
They're down with Daemon.
They like Daemon. That's his old running buddies.
Yeah.
And they used to cause hell in King's Landing for petty crimes.
Yes, and Daemon also likes the muscle. So, he wants to make sure that, hey, whoever is actually attacking these Gold Cloaks, we should stop that. And it's Rhaenyra's fault, including from Daemon's point of view, because Rhaenyra had them come out like the Gestapo.
She said, I never told them to do that. She said, go find a graffito. What Lillian from Unbreakable Kimmy Smith said. Graffito. Go find the graffiti artist who wrote those things about my children on the walls. She was like, he said, that was a big threat, if my kids are bastards, that kind of weakens their legitimacy. But it's like, girl.
He said, your dragons are your strength.
Your dragons are your strength. But like I said, he misses a point that brute force is not the answer to everything. There's so much politicking that goes into politic. And so it's like, but I get what he's saying. It's like, everyone knows your kids is bastards. Own it. And meanwhile, Joffrey, Rhaenyra's last surviving son, is here, and she's ducking him. She doesn't want to see him, and I think it's because she's afraid to get too close. She's afraid to love him because she's afraid to lose him. So she's like, if I can keep my distance, I won't get too attached, because I haven't seen him in a long time. He's been gone to Ward and the Vale for years now. Yeah. So she's like, maybe if I keep my distance, it won't hurt as much when he's inevitably dead, like all my other children.
Yeah, also, it's probably keep her distance, but also I feel like it'd be very hard to rule as, sometimes viciously or like cruelly and still be a mother, if that makes sense. Maybe you
underestimate mothers.
Maybe she just needs to like separate those two part of our things in our life. Like, all right, I don't got time to, I don't know. Even though I feel like kings and queens are barely mothers' parents anyway. They
ain't changing no diapers.
They ain't changing no diapers. They ain't feeding him. Like, he has his own, I don't know, wet nurse or whatever this wenches are.
House
wench.
wench.
Yeah. I made the joke earlier that when I went on paternity leave, I am now the house wench.
You've been the house wench.
Yeah.
So Aegon is hellbent on going to Wendish Town to find Aemond. And, Larys is like, this is a bad idea. And he says, stop telling me what I cannot do. And I think, I do feel from him. I think a lot of people who are kind of disabled in a way don't like to feel like they're being coddled. They want to feel self-sufficient. They want to feel independent. But Laris makes a good point. You're trying to march so far on foot.
100 leagues, which is 300 miles.
To Windish Town. We're out here in the open. The Rivermen are still out here, you know, and if it's up to Aemond, he's going to kill you on sight. Like, you don't know what's going on. And yeah, like you said, Mysaria visits, I don't know, so Mysaria visits Alicent and tells her she knows about the Plan BT. And Alicent lies and says it's for herself and to keep it between them. You know, she's like, hey, Rhaenyra doesn't have to know about this. You used to not be Rhaenyra's lapdog.
Exactly.
You used to kind of, you worked in your best interests, even if that means telling other people's business. You didn't work for one person. You worked for the people like you, out of Flea Bottom, the whores, and the disregarded of society. So why are you so loyal now? Just keep it between us. But, you know, she hit that, so she has other. She hit that.
Yeah. Meanwhile, as Cole is in his army,
trying to get the drop on the Rivermen still.
Yes.
No, they're doing pretty hot. They're pretty good at this point. They're pretty happy because they were able to get the drop on the Rivermen and like destroy their camp and also, you know, pretty much beat them before, what's the word? Like beat them before they get there.
Yeah. Like, yeah, exactly. Just, yeah.
There's a word for that, but I'm tired.
Yeah. So, but they lose their horses because the Rivermen have hidden spurs on the ground, like basically medieval landmines that took all the horses.
Go straight through their hooves.
Yeah, straight through the hooves, and they had to kill the horses and continue their journey on foot, which obviously slows them down significantly. So much so that by the time they get to the next bridge, the Rivermen already crossed it and burned it, leaving them stranded. And staying on that storyline a bit, Cole, essentially, he is unwielding.
I just heard your baby throw up.
Yeah, she does that. She does that a lot, unfortunately. But Cole is the definition of unbowed and unbent because he has every reason to stop. Even Ser Gawain is telling him, "Hey, bro, like we failed.
Soldiers are dropping dead from exhaustion, and they don't have time to bury them. They just keep on marching.
And he's like,
they look delirious.
Yeah.
Like they look sick. They have leeches stuck to them. When they get to the bridge that leads to the Stony Steps and see that it's burned, Gawain looks like he's on the verge of tears.
Yeah, like
he looks like it looks like it's about to be his 13th reason. He looks completely devastated.
But
like,
Cole don't care. Cole is
a husk of a man.
There's
nothing inside.
His reasoning though is, I have nothing. I come from no name. I have no banners. Gawain offers Cole to come back to Old Town to serve under the High Tower's courts. And he's like, yo, man, I'm done serving people.
I've been a servant my whole life. You know, Cole never intended to come out of this alive. To him, dying is better than going back as a failure. He will die as a great fighter on his own terms. So he's like, hey, I'm not doing this for the High Towers. I'm not doing this for the Targaryens. I'm doing this because I want to be known as a man who did not lose in battle. Me giving up right now and going to Old Town or Tumbleton means I lost. And I have no desire to live as a failure. I want to, if I don't win, I'd rather die. And I know I'm not going to win, so I choose death.
Yeah.
That's how I understood it.
Yeah. And, you know, some people
How do you think he got to that point? Do you feel like it was earned? Because I don't really know what the turning point for Cole is. I can't remember, but it seemed like, you know, he seemed very, you know, like I said, I call him an incel all the time. He hated Rhaenyra, you know, because she played him. And then he served for Alicent. But when did he become so nihilistic? So when did that happen? I can't remember the turning point.
War changes people, one, but also he is kind of over it. You know, like I think he's just at a point where he has nothing worth fighting for except fighting for except for fighting itself. You know, he's just like, you know, there was this guy we used to work with, and we used to say, man, he runs around like a soldier without a war, right? Just like, you know, rampaging and everything. And I feel like Cole is the same way.
So determined before
right, just so determined, just for the sake of fighting and dying in glory, you know. And that's what he gave his life to, right? When you become a knight, you know, you basically say, hey, this is like, they make certain sacrifices. I think like not having a woman, not getting married, or whatever other sacrifice they have to take. But he's like, I made so many oaths that my last oath is going to be, I am going to die for this. I'm willing to die for this.
So more Gold Cloaks are dying. Sir Luther and Daemon find 2 more Gold Cloaks that were savagely killed. And Daeron, not King Daeron, what's his name? Ormond.
Lord Ormond.
He receives a note via Raven that says, gold blood spilled, 3 marked in the tally, the account lies open. So someone's telling him what's going on in King's Landing, that Gold Cloaks are being killed, and now it's up to 3. So Ormond is playing a game of chess with Daeron. Daeron wins, and Ormond tries his best, but not very well, to hide his absolute fury. Because, you know, like he said, he is a classic narcissist. So someone outsmarting him literally boils his blood. And then he shows Daeron a coin with his face on it, pretty much saying, we are in the throes of solidifying you as the next king.
Yeah. And also, while they were playing chess, they talked about a story where...
We talked about history.
Yeah, they talked about history, where...
A woman from Dorne.
Yep.
Because remember, Dorne is still...
Unbent.
Unbowed and unbent.
Yeah.
Still independent.
So they were talking about a woman from House...
She's from Dorne.
I know. The toad... What was it? A toad from Dorne? Oh, that's what you just shared.
The yellow toad. I think that's what they call her. Her name was Maria yes. Martell.
Yeah, Maria Martell, the yellow toad of Dorne.
Thick of waist.
Yeah. Ormond described her as blind, hideous, hairless princess who held strong during Aegon the Conqueror's realm using guerrilla warfare. She poisoned her own wells, and her soldiers hid in the sand and defeated Aegon in their sleep. Ormond Hightower explained this to Daeron, I think, for 2 reasons. One is basically talking about how he kind of respected that she had the military aptitude as a woman to do that. But also, I think it was insight to how Cole right now is fighting, where you can't go directly at the enemy. You need to use tricks and your mind to overpower when you're outnumbered.
And how he's fighting as well, because we know that Ormond has something to do with the Gold Cloaks being killed.
Yeah, he does.
You know, we don't know how, but we know. So, yeah. So back at King's Landing, Alicent tells her plans of escape to Helaena. Helena's like, absolutely not. I'm not leaving Jahara behind.
I like that name, by the way, Jahara.
I do like Jahara. You know, there's always the names are so similar with Targaryens. There's always like a Viz something, Viserys, Visenya. There's always a risk, like Y. No, R. No, there's always there's a B. There's always the RH, Rhaena, Rhaenys, Rhaenyra. Names that end in Nis, Daenerys.
I feel like some of those names could be Dominican names.
Literally, I thought the same thing. There's always a Bay, Baelor, Baela, Balerion, it's recurring name because Helaena had Jahara and also had Jaharis, and Jaharis was killed. That still haunts me that someone slit the throat of a 4-year-old boy.
Yeah.
That's insidious. But
it is.
Yeah, Helaena is like, I'm not leaving. Allison is like, yo, I set everything up. I gave my necklace to a maid. So pretty much to bribe her to get us to help us to leave. And she's like, no, I'm not leaving. And it's like, Allison, you're doing so much to protect your daughter, but your daughter's also a mother. How can you not expect her to do so much to protect her children? Yeah. Especially since one of them, like I said, was decapitated in his sleep.
Yeah. No, Helaena, she's not just a pushover. At least not anymore as much. So she is.
Helena's never been a pushover. Never that. She's a peaceable person, like Granny would say, but never a pushover. It's just Helaena doesn't have the will to serve, and the crown is a weight that crushes, as Alan would say. It makes you crazy. Putting on that crown makes you crazy, like the ring in Lord of the Rings. I have no idea. I've never seen that movie, but I assume.
But they do come up with a plan to escape, and with the help of a maid. Okay, and meanwhile, Baela and Adam continue to search for Aemond, and Aemond is having nightmares and is distraught that Vhagar is gone. He believes that Aegon is hunting him in death. Meanwhile, Aegon and Larys return to camp at Rook's Rest.
And one thing that's interesting to me, so Aemond, he wakes up from a dream. Like I said, he's being haunted by dreams of Aegon. He's sad that Vhagar's gone, and he talks to Alice, who's like cradling him or just listening to him, and he's like, he talks about how he revered Aegon when they were children, yet he was terrified of him. And his mother preferred Aegon.
Mother loved him best.
And it's funny because the scene cuts then to Aegon, who's complaining about Aemond, saying how mother loved Aemond best. Poor Aemond, he has one eye. And it's funny how they both believe the mother loved the other one more, which created resentment between them.
The best way to screw up a human beings is the parents. Parents can screw up kids, man, and
without even trying. Who knows what the reality of the situation is? It could just be their own perception. And
also jealousy too. They're jealous of one another.
Well, obviously, but I'm saying that doesn't have to be something that the mothers necessarily doing. It's just how the way they perceive things, and we know they're both sick in the head, so who knows?
Yeah.
But one thing I thought was interesting, Aegon was there complaining, and it's like, you cannot complain about your life to a person who had it a lot worse than you.
Exactly.
Because Larys is like, you slacked off your whole life. You put your Johnson in anything that moved with the skirt.
You wasted.
You drunk. You wasted. You wasted everything. Everything was handed to you, and you squandered it. You can't talk to me, a man who was down bad since birth with my clubfoot, and had to scheme and slither my way into rooms that I had no business being in, and even still, I'm not respected. Shut up.
He said, not only were you a terrible king, but you're also a terrible man.
And he said that with conviction. He said that with his chest.
With his chest.
And Aegon just took it.
Yeah.
But you know what? I think it sunk in. I think Aegon reluctantly, he returned back to Rook's Rest, and he was like, Rook's Rest, and like, let's just get the boat. And then who showed up at Rook's Rest?
Tywin Lannister.
Try it again, because that's not his name.
Tywin.
There you go.
Tywin Lannister. I always mispronounce his name.
Yeah, you do.
Tywin Lannister is like, what boat? And he shows up. And obviously he just spent the past few months / years. It's hard to tell what time is.
I have a theory.
With the...
It could be completely wrong, like a lot of my theories are, because I haven't looked up the timeline of these things. But what if the Lannisters get rich because of the money Tywin Lannister had stole from King's Landing all those moons ago?
Absolutely. I believe that wholeheartedly.
But who knows? The Lannisters could have been rich.
They have no reason to return the money back.
A Lannister always replays their debts. How'd they get that money? You know, I think they could have already been rich, but what if, like, you know, the money stored away by Tywin Lannister? Why at King's Landing is why. It's a theory. Like I said, whatever.
No, I was thinking the same thing, that he basically took advantage of the situation. But Tywin, he's traveling with some hired swords. And
some cell swords. And he basically... Which are like, you know, historically the most trustworthy men you can find.
Yeah. Here's $50 for you to fight for the death for me. Like, that's kind of crazy.
Whatever. I could never be a bodyguard.
No.
Even if I had my best interests, you can't overwrite my fight or flight response and my biological need to protect myself above some dude who pays me to protect them.
No, I'm not built for that. I'm not gonna like sacrifice myself just because you gave me something.
Like, that is crazy.
No, not at all. So while Larys and Tywin debate what to do with Aegon, whether they should go to the Lannisters' Tower and Castle Rock to basically regroup and plan from there, or if they should take their ship and go to Braavos, where they can go and get basically regroup there and decide when to come back to Westeros. They're overheard by that bully who was in the camp that was basically running the camp.
I still don't know his name.
I don't know.
Doesn't matter.
He finds Aegon's crown, and Aegon kills him. He falls on him, and then shanks him to death, like the same way he killed someone else. And Aegon was like, "You will refer to me as your grace." And I feel like Aegon needs those little spurts of murder to like keep his masculinity.
Ever since he was burned, people they babied Aegon. So him killing that bully was the thing he needed to prove to himself and others that he's far from helpless.
Yeah, exactly.
Because even so, Aegon's sitting back while Tywin and Larys are talking about him. Larys is like, Aegon cannot withstand the heat of the Braavosi sun. Tywin's like, he can't travel this far on his own. They're just saying all the things he is incapable of doing. Meanwhile, Aegon is killing a nigga behind your back.
Exactly. And
then he smiled. And I think he was like, I still got it.
Exactly. So, meanwhile, back in King's Landing, Daemon and Luther, they find a man in connection with all of the killings of the Gold Cloaks. And they torture him. Daemon removes his eye, and he learns that this man was paid by none other than Lord Ormond. And he claims that he's working alone, which they obviously don't believe him. He said he doesn't know who he's working with. But there's obviously a deeper, insidious plot happening. Because even though Daemon goes and he tries to rally up the Gold Cloaks to say, hey, man, you go travel in groups. When we come and we take over the west of Westeros, when we go to Braavos and Dorne, and we get all that gold, that when we get all of our wealth, the first people I'm going to repay are you Gold Cloaks, remember to fight for your queen, remember to fight for your country.
Never trust someone who tells you about money you're going to receive that they don't even got yet. I don't work in IOUs.
Yeah. But he's inspiration, like he's inspiring them.
Yeah.
But
very Bravehearty.
Yes, but still they're
of High Valyria. Like how he said that.
But still they are dying. And the way that they are killed, it's like almost unnatural.
It's giving up. Yeah, it's like how is this happening? There has to be multiple people, and how have no one seen this?
Yes, no one's seen it, and the Gold Cloaks, they don't know what's happening. They know they're being attacked. They're armed.
Traveling in groups.
They're traveling in groups.
They said no more than 4 men or something like that.
Yeah, they're traveling in groups, at least 3 or 4, and they're still getting slain. And it reminds me of like Remember the Faceless Men?
Alice has something to do with that.
Remember the Faceless Men? It reminds me of that.
I don't.
Like it reminds me of, you don't remember who the Faceless Men was? That's who, in the Game of Thrones original series.
What's her face? Went to train with?
Yeah, basically the god of death, the Faceless Man, where he was able to essentially kill.
That's what Arya.
Arya Stark. Arya Stark became the Faceless Man.
She became the Faceless Man.
She did. She
became one of them.
And able to basically go and kill people like...
Arya Stark got so scary.
Yeah, she did. But essentially it feels almost supernatural the way that all these people are being killed. Because they're not just sitting ducks, you know.
But even before that, Helaena and Alicent try to make their great escapes. But of course, Myserio's right there and was like, what y'all doing? So, and now Myseria knows that is indeed not Alicent, but Helaena, who was pregnant.
Burgers.
And Alicent persuades Myseria to stay quiet. She says, there's good in Rhaenyra, but the crown is the weight that crushes. And she pretty much says that, Myseria, you're disposable compared to Daemon. Like, I know you guys been hunching. You think that's your boo thing, but Daemon doesn't like you. Daemon doesn't trust you. And Rhaenyra chose Daemon a long time ago. So if push comes to shove and Daemon says, off with her head, it's off with your head. You used to be, like I said, the white worm who didn't work in the interests of her master, but the interests of herself, and played both sides. If you remember me, the High Towers will remember you. And I think that is a very valid argument. Remember who you are. Remember these people act in their own interests. Whether you done tasted their fruit or not, you need to look out for yourself. And by doing that...
Tasting their fruit is crazy,
Tasting their fruit or not. Like, you need to look out for yourself. And by doing that, you need dirt on everybody. You need something to help you because you are just a fling.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Granny's calling?
Yeah. Granny's upstairs.
We can see what she... Okay.
She's calling.
Yeah.
You
want me to try to text her? I'll try to text her. She don't read text. Well, she's getting better at reading text, but I'll let you continue and I'll text her.
Okay. So, Cole and his army, he makes his speech, and he explains how he never intended to return, and he never intended coming out of the battle alive, and that dying is better. Just go call her. And that dying is better than returning as a failure. So Gwaine leaves. Gwaine is like, I am not for, this martyr stuff. And he leaves. And he decides to go back to Tumbleton and meets back with Lord Ormond.
Granny wanted to know if we have hot dogs. I'm like, I don't know, Granny. But yeah, picking up where you left off. So yeah, Gwaine's like, screw this.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's going to Templeton. I don't know if he's going to Old Town. I would go to Old Town. I'd be like, I'm done with everybody in this. I'm done. I'm not doing this no more. Call me Craven. I'm like, y'all not knowing? Did y'all just learn this word?
Craven, yeah.
They say Craven 5 times. Craven. They say Craven 5 times an episode.
Yeah.
But also another thing that's happening a lot. Alice almost gets sexually assaulted, and that's the 3rd sexual assault that happens.
Yeah, when
more bounty hunters come looking for Aemond, and guess what? Aemond is well enough to fight. So, dun, dun, dun for Rhaenyra, because even though Aemond is badly injured and his spirit broken, he still manages to take out 3 men single-handedly in defense of Alice.
These highborn lads, with their specialty training, they learn how to fight. It's actually kind of different than how nowadays. Like, you can imagine, one of Donald Trump's children, for example, fighting.
Yeah, the 1% aren't fighting.
Yeah, the 1% are fighting.
They're pushing buttons for bombs.
Exactly.
They're lobbying people to fight for them.
Yeah, lobbying people. Yeah, like, people don't got hands nowadays. But back then, like, Aegon's like, yo, man, Aemond is like, I am the prince for a reason. I have won
Yeah, the king used to fight
championships
with their men.
Like, was a knight, and yeah, they were really, really, really sticking good warriors.
And I'm just like, so many sexual assaults happening. I'm like, I know a woman is in this writing room because it's just a constant threat for women at every stage in history. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter what you're wearing. It doesn't matter what you're doing. It doesn't matter who you're with. It's always a threat. And it's very scary. And it sucks.
Yeah. But, yeah. Aemond's alive. He has his strength back. And it seems now...
he still struggled. But, he took out 3 men. He took out 3 men.
3 men. But now it seems like he's poised to continue to defend Harrenhal.
Did we talk about the coins that they found when they were torturing that man? Did you talk about that?
Yeah, we talked about the coins.
Okay, I was taking a call. So,
like we said, they found Ormond's coins, and the man being tortured said it's from the king. So they're spreading word through the small folk, saying like, "Hey, a new regime is coming," and it's very smart. You kind of get the people. They're already calling Rhaenyra bastards. And now that I think about it, Ormond might have had something to do with that as well. You have people call her bastards, then you secretly spread word of a new king. You're kind of making your own underground army in your name.
We know, living in the United States, that we are not a monolith, meaning that this country is divided, left or right, middle, whatever you are. And I feel like in the world of Westeros, it's no different. That there's people who are for Rhaenyra, there's people who are for the Greens, there are people who don't give an F. And Lord Ormond understands that. And he is basically sowing those seeds to cause an insurrection within King's Landing, and is working beautifully. Well, very well. Not beautiful. It's kind of grotesque how the way these murders are happening. So the episode ends with Alicent and Helaena. They accidentally find a secret door in their bedroom chamber once their original plan to escape fails, because Lady Mysaria finds them. And they go through the bedroom chamber and they're sneaking out, where they run into a dead end. Meanwhile, Daemon discovers a grotesque scene where his gold cloaks, what was it, like half a dozen of them?
It was like 9, more than that.
9,
there was like 9 of them.
Sitting at a
including
table.
Sir Luther.
Including Sir Luther, which is his right-hand man.
Which is the captain of the Gold Cloaks.
Captain of the Gold Cloaks.
He's so cute.
Basically poised like the Last Supper.
Set up dead at a dinner table to make it seem like they're eating their own entrails.
Yes, their guts spewing on the table, their eyes
and written in their
destroyed.
own blood on the wall behind them says, "A feast for traitors."
And it is, who can do, like,
it's nightmarish.
Nightmare. It would take, realistically, 50, 60 men to do this.
These are trained fighters. These are highly skilled fighters, and you killed, what, 9 of them?
And like,
I think Alice has something to do with it. I think magic has to be involved in some way.
It has to be.
Because how do people not know about this?
And not just the murder.
How are they doing it in a secret?
But like the murder and then the artistic skill to put them all together and poise them and like.
I mean, you never heard of Edward Gein?
No, I haven't.
I think that's his name. It's not so crazy to me what they did after post-mortem. It's just, how are you killing all those men and no one knows about it?
How are you killing 9 of the best soldiers? In this city?
I think magic has to be. I think dark magic is at hand here, and I wouldn't be surprised if Alice had a hand in it.
Yeah, or someone equivalent to Alice who works on the green side. So I'm really interested. I'm hoping it's not just like, oh yeah, this random guy who just fights really well. But man, these guys are getting slaughtered. And Daemon is scared. You can tell when Daemon finds them, he's like, what the F is going on?
It's not so fun when the shoe's on the other foot, huh, Daemon?
It's not so fun when the
because I can see Daemon
sheep.
Doing this, yeah. When the wolves become sheep. That should be the name of the episode.
Yeah.
That's our name for the episode.
So, what would you rank this episode, Mary?
I will give it a 4 out of 5 stars. A large bag of popcorn.
Yeah.
The first time we watched the episode, we didn't know what the heck was going on.
It was hard to follow initially.
Maybe it was also late.
Yeah.
Were we drinking then? We might have had a little sippy sip.
A little sippy sip.
But once again, I think it's an episode like the 4th episode. I don't know. Are we sure this is the 5th episode?
I believe so. Yeah.
But I think it's similar to the last episode where there's still, things are still in motion. But now we see more progress of those things in motion. So compared to the first earlier episodes when they were set into motion now season, so now we're at the climax of that. Now, we're going back down the hill, we're going, and now we're slowly going up the hill. So if that makes sense. So I'm not to say it is not as exciting, but they're setting things up. So I'll give it, but it was still interesting. So I will give it, I think 4 to 5 stars.
I would give it an extra large bag of popcorn because of the build up they're doing. Because I think the title Unbent and Unbound.
Unbound and Unbent.
You see, it's confusing me. Unbound and Unbent represent so many different characters in this story that once again, from Alicent, who could easily have given up once she got caught by Mysaria, she still found a way out. Not
out. She
still at least found a way. I'm assuming, I don't know. They're not giving up. It's like, hey, don't give up because you never know what's going to happen. And Alicent, Aemond, Aegon, they're all still fighting. Ormond, who right now, from Ormond's point of view, there's still Rhaenyra on the throne with 3 dragons. He is still the underdog. Even though he's gaining his momentum, it's going to take some type of grandiose, thing to happen for them to take the throne.
The tides aren't turning anytime soon.
No, it's going to be years in the making. And Darren is 13, 15, whatever. He's still a young man. He's going to take him a long time to grow up to be fully king, if that's the thing. So all this underdog stories in the midst of the chaos and the uncertainty is really exciting. It keeps us excited to watch, and it makes us very fun to review this. So thanks again for listening to another episode of the Watch That Drone podcast. You can follow us, our social media page, linked in the show notes description. And we'll continue reviewing these episodes. So until next time.
Bye.